Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Golden Bachelorette Charles Ling's time coming to an end. Is the Golden Bachelorette fan favorite, Charles Ling's time coming to an end? Fans have grown to him, his sweet demeanor, and how kind he is to all around him. Yet he also has a silly side that makes viewers gravitate to him even more. Sadly, is it almost time for him to be sent home? Keep reading for more details. Charles Ling's time coming to an end? Fans absolutely adore Charles Ling, and they think he is just the sweetest man on the Golden Bachelorette. Not only do viewers want him as the next Golden Bachelor, but they never want to see him leave. He is mild-mannered and kind, but he is sharp-witted and smart. Charles and Gary Luddingston knew there were sleeping problems in the mansion. There was snoring, close quarters, and multiple bathroom breaks. So they headed to the local market to stock up on necessities. They brought back eye masks, earplugs, and more, so everyone could sleep better. The best part about Charles is he is coming into himself. He loved his wife so much, and to lose her broke his heart. However, this whole experience has given him closure and allowed him to open up to love again. This has made him an absolute fan favorite and left his mark on so many people's hearts. I just love Charles. Everything about him is just so pure. Charles has such a special place in my heart. If he gets sent home, it's going to break me. Unfortunately, it looks like his time may be coming to an end, according to Daily Express US. Fans feel that he is still not over his wife and not truly ready to date. Therefore, that could be a sign Joan will send him packing. I get it. Charles is so sweet, everyone loves him. I just can't see him making it much further. Just watched episode 3 and outside of Kickball, all he has talked about is his wife. If a man was dating me and talking non-stop about his ex-wife, I'd be annoyed. Focus on your date. Charles is not ready. Good television. Other Golden Bachelorette fans felt Charles Ling made great television, and that was why he was still around. It is a TV show with the sole purpose of entertaining its audience. Charles is a great character, so he stays. He's definitely still on because he's a fan favorite. Yes, he's very sweet, but it's not a match. The general consensus is that he may be an amazing person, but he and Joan Vassos simply are not right for each other. At the same time, he might not be over his wife, but Joan openly admitted she still loves her late husband. So, they all have baggage. As for when Charles will exit is unknown, but at least he is here now. In the shimmering world of love, where age is but a number, Charles Ling entered the spotlight as a contestant on The Golden Bachelorette, with a grace that set him apart from the rest. He was one of those rare men who seemed to possess an effortless charm, the kind that made people lean in when he spoke and left a trail of admiration in his wake. From the moment he walked onto the show, there was an unspoken consensus among viewers and fellow contestants alike. Charles Ling was the man to beat. But as the weeks went on, something shifted. What once felt like Charles's inevitable path to victory began to feel uncertain. His spark, once so bright and undeniable, seemed to dim ever so slightly, leaving fans to ask a question they never expected. Is Charles Ling's time on The Golden Bachelorette coming to an end? The early days, a strong contender. In the early episodes, Charles was a beacon of what the Golden Bachelorette was all about. At 62, he was dapper, refined, and exuded a quiet confidence that made him an early favorite for both Beverly, the elegant and youthful Bachelorette, and the audience. Charles's professional background as a retired architect also played into the narrative. He spoke often of his love for building both in a literal and metaphorical sense, creating spaces, designing futures, and building a legacy. His interactions with Beverly were warm, genuine, and frequently peppered with intellectual conversations. Charles had an ability to connect with her on a deeper level, discussing art, travel, and the subtle beauty of life's later years. Their shared experiences in globe-trotting through Europe, Their passion for fine dining and their love for jazz music solidified Charles's place as a frontrunner. The first few roses Beverly handed him seemed almost ceremonial, an acknowledgement of what was expected. Charles Ling was the man everyone assumed would be the last one standing. The perfect gentleman, but is it enough? Despite his strong start, there was an underlying question slowly creeping into the minds of the viewers and perhaps even Beverly herself. Charles had everything that one might traditionally desire. He was well-spoken, cultured, and undeniably a gentleman. But for all his perfection, there was a growing sense that perhaps he was too perfect. Week after week, Charles remained composed, rarely ruffled by the drama that swirled around him. He didn't engage in the banter or the competitive edge that some of the younger contestants displayed. Instead, Charles remained steady, like a stately ship gliding through calm waters. For many, this was a mark of his maturity, but for others, it raised a different concern. Where was the passion? As Beverly continued to explore her relationships with the other men, it became clear that while Charles offered stability, some of the other contestants brought a spark that was impossible to ignore. There was Anthony, the adventurous outdoorsman who whisked Beverly away on thrilling dates, and Gregory, the poet who wrote her sonnets under the moonlight. They were unpredictable and passionate, something that Charles, in his reliability, couldn't quite match. The slow descent, cracks in the armor. By the mid-season, the once unstoppable Charles began to show cracks in his seemingly impenetrable armor. During a group date set at a coastal resort, Charles appeared distracted, his usual attentiveness waning. As other men engaged Beverly in conversations and activities, Charles was more reserved, his focus elsewhere. Some speculated that the pressure of competition was finally getting to him, or perhaps he was reconsidering whether he and Beverly were truly meant to be. The turning point came during a one-on-one date. What should have been a romantic evening filled with conversation instead turned into a quiet, almost awkward affair. Beverly, sensing something amiss, asked Charles directly, "Do you still see us moving forward?" Charles, ever the gentleman, responded honestly, "I don't know, Beverly. I thought I did, but I'm not sure if I'm the right person for you. You meet someone who ignites a fire in your heart. I don't know if I'm that person anymore." It was a shocking confession, and one that left both Beverly and the audience reeling. For the first time, Charles Ling, the man who seemed destined to win it all, was questioning his place on the show. Facing the inevitable, as the next rose ceremony approached, the atmosphere was tense. The other contestants, once intimidated by Charles's seemingly unshakable presence, now saw an opening. Rumors swirled that Charles might voluntarily leave, that perhaps he had already made peace with his journey coming to an end. Charles's body language during the cocktail party was telling. He no longer exuded the quiet confidence of earlier weeks. Instead, he appeared contemplative, as if weighing a decision that could alter the course of his life. Beverly, too, seemed conflicted. Her connection with Charles was undeniable, but after his admission of doubt, she wasn't sure if he was still the man she saw a future with. Could she risk choosing someone who might not be fully committed? A graceful exit or a last-minute rebound? As Charles stood waiting for the final rose, the world seemed to hold its breath. Was this the moment where one of the strongest contenders would bow out gracefully, or would Beverly give him one last chance to rediscover the spark that had initially brought them together? The tension was palpable, and when Beverly's eyes met Charles's, it was clear that a decision had been made. Whether or not it would be in Charles's favor remained to be seen, but one thing was certain: Charles Ling's time on The Golden Bachelorette was hanging by a thread. And as the rose hovered in Beverly's hand, the question remained, had Charles's golden moment come and gone? The next few minutes would tell whether his time had truly come to an end, or if the next chapter of his journey was just about to begin.